Hey, what's up, blue collar business owner? Welcome back to the Blue Collar Prosperity Podcast, where we focus on helping guide you to have a business that produces consistent, positive cash flow. In doing so, you'll have a financially healthy business, be able to achieve your personal goals, and most importantly, sleep well at night. Today, we have with us Louis Vandervalk. Louis is a serial entrepreneur located in New Brunswick, Canada. With a background in construction and trades and a degree in mechanical engineering, Louis started a business doing digital marketing for contractors in 2019. With no formal business or sales experience, he has ridden the roller coaster of business and personal development and surrounded himself with coaches and mentors who have helped him grow and develop. Currently, Louis is the owner of Blue Crocus Solutions, a digital marketing company providing web design, SEO, and Google Ads to contractors. As well, in May of 2021, he partnered with and helped grow a local junk removal company using these results-driven marketing tactics. So that is Louis Vandervalk. Welcome, Louis. Thanks for being here. What is going on in Canada today?
Appreciate you having me, Paul. What a mouthful to get through, but appreciate you having me. And Canada is good. Sun's shining, flowers are blooming. We're finally catching up to the rest of the East Coast as the the summer moves up.
Nice. We're recording this in May, so I wouldn't be surprised if you said it was still snowing in Canada. So that is good to hear. So just like a lot of people out there listening, Louis is a busy man balancing family life, raising kids, and obviously growing and scaling a business. So that's what we're really going to dive into today. Two things. One, how did Louis get to where he is today? That journey can inspire listeners. And then two, how his expertise in digital marketing can help all the business owners out there scale and achieve their goals. So Louis, how did your journey start? How did you go from mechanical engineering degree to I'm going to go start a business?
It's a great question. I was in school, in university for mechanical engineering, and it all really started. A friend of mine named Robbie, he mentioned that he was doing drop shipping. He was going through university doing mechanical engineering with me. He was also a varsity athlete. He really was busy as well. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm making like 30K a month doing drop shipping." I'm like, "What? Like that's insane." Didn't know anything about it. Didn't really know anything about the world of online marketing, sales, all the things you can do online, right? So fast forward to 2019, I graduate, get a full-time job at the place that I'd worked for the last 4 years, all through school. They had me salaried as a mechanical design engineer while I was getting my degree, which was awesome. So I just started full-time in with them. And then our son was born 3 months later after I graduated. So he June of 2019. And I was like, man, this is gonna be crazy. We knew we wanted four. We have four now. We knew we wanted four at that time. And so there was doctor's appointments, and I was just fast forwarding my mind to the soccer games and the, hockey practice and all of that. And how are we going to make it all work? And I was like, this is not going to work. I'm not going to be able to make the money that I want to be making and the flexibility that I need. So I started looking, and I looked into drop shipping first, and I was like, this is great. You can make lots of money, apparently, according to all the people selling courses, but this just isn't me. It's not, I can't see myself pushing consumerism on the masses. And so I said, well, I guess in the process of that, I started being served tons of ads on Facebook. Everybody and their uncle was selling a course. And there was one that really jumped out to me, though. It was the concept of doing marketing for contractors. And I was like, I did construction for 4 years after high school. I did it all through high school. That was kind of where I started before I moved into saying, hey, I want to do engineering, want to do a little bit more with my mind and, build a career there. So I said that marries the two things that I know very well. So I started looking into that. I bought that course. I like to say that was my first sale in entrepreneurship, was selling my wife on taking the money we'd saved for a bathroom and using it to buy that course that catapulted me to where I am today. So I bought that August 1st of 2019, started the business a month later. I had clients pretty quickly because I just went crazy because I really saw the vision. And that's how we ended up here was, the services we offer have morphed a little bit over time, but it was all centered around SEO for contractors and helping them to dominate their online space. And we're still doing that today. It's still my favorite thing. Still learning things every day. It's a very changing landscape, and you can go so deep and so niche in the things that you can learn in it.
That's impressive. So you basically started your business August 2019. When did you actually quit your full-time job and say, this is what we're doing all in?
I did it a year later. So bought the course August 1st, started the business pretty much. And then the 23rd of August, I actually got let go from my job. I went in through the part of starting a business is I suddenly was surrounded by people, through that course and through the business owners that I was meeting, people that were on a whole different level. And just a whole different outlook on life. So I started reading the 4 Hour Work Week. I started doing stuff. And in the 4 Hour Work Week, Tim says, I never even finished the book. Still haven't finished the book to this day, but I read enough to where he's like, if you want something, go for it. And I was like, I want more to be making more at my job. I graduated with more experience than any of my peers, and I was making less than they were with no experience right out of the gate. And I was like, well, I'll go ask my boss for more money. So I did, and he's like, that was a Tuesday in August. So it was like it would have been like the 18th or 19th of August. And he's like, come back to me on Thursday, and I'll have a decision. I go on Thursday. We'd had a big planning week all that week for the next 2 years projects. So I was like, okay, this is looking good. So I go in and we have a chat for about 45 minutes. And I was like, oh yeah, you mentioned that you'd let me know. He was like, oh yeah, you're done tomorrow. Pack up your stuff. And I was like, man, okay, all right. Huge gut punch. New family, had just invested a lot of our savings into starting the business. So I went home, it was a good, fun 20-minute drive to go home and tell Alyssa I no longer had a job. And then I focused really heavily on starting the business, but I ended up getting a job for about another year. I started that job, and on the day that I signed for that job, that was going to be kind of an interim until the business took off, I told Alyssa, I said, I'm taking you out July 1st of next year because I will have quit this job. Because that's when the business is going to be standing on its two legs. So it was like July 14th, I think is what it ended up being, just phasing out, have someone replace me in that job. But yeah, it was about a year later that I went full time into this, and what a ride it's been.
Love it. That's awesome. That's super inspiring, because I know a lot of times, no matter who's listening and where you're at, a lot of times we are afraid to have those conversations, make that decision. A lot of times we look back and we have regrets and say, damn, I should have done that sooner. So kudos to you for listening to Tim Ferriss and going to ask for that raise, getting fired, getting another job, but with that end goal of, hey, by July, this is what we're going to do, make happen. We're glad you did it, because you're here today to provide a ton of value to all the listeners out there. So let's dive into your expertise, digital marketing. You go into any Facebook group, you go anywhere, there's zillions of experts. We all know that. If someone posts, say, hey, I need more leads, there's gonna be 1,000 people replying because everyone claims to be an expert. So we're going to dive into your expertise, SEO for the trades. What are some, I want the listeners to get actionable advice and not just kind of strung down this, this whole path of then eventually you have to become a client to get any information. My belief is you give enough value, they're going to ask to become your client. So SEO for the trades, that's what you focus on. What are some things our listeners can do today to start moving the needle forward by tomorrow?
Got to be an action taker, first of all, because you can hear all the advice in the world and it can be great. But if you don't take action, it's not going to move the needle. So I think the first thing, I speak SEO. That's my favorite thing. It's the core of what we do, and I've seen it work, and I've seen the ROI on it. So I'm gonna speak a lot to that. There's a few things that we'll probably chat about regarding social media marketing and Facebook groups and stuff. But one of the core things that people miss is they're like, oh, I'll just put up a website. It'll be a homepage. It'll be pretty. I'll have a gallery of the stuff that I do. I'll maybe have a services page that lists all the things that I do in bullet form. That's great. Nothing wrong with that when you start. But if you want to give your website the opportunity to show up, you need to think about it from the fact that Google does not rank websites. It ranks pages. This is a new one for a lot of people. And I've been saying this for years. I might have even said it when we jumped on a few years ago. But Google doesn't rank websites. It ranks pages. So every page you build, if it can be about a specific topic or a specific area, you can then start getting into the mindset of every single service that I provide. If I'm a plumbing business or a roofing company or a junk removal company, there are specific services that I do. It's either drain cleaning or roof repair or new shingles or asphalt shingles or metal roofing or estate cleanouts, right? These are all separate services that you do. It's not just plumbing or roofing or junk removal. So you can write content and build pages for every single service that you offer, and you want to do that. And you also want to do it for every single service area that you service as well. So that's something that, while you may not be able to do it right tomorrow, if you start taking action on that consistently and say, hey, let's go brain dump and get, the 50 services that I do offer, and then get a plan. And over the next 50 weeks, write a page a week for every single service that you offer. There's a lot of power in that. And people underestimate what it can do for their business.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would totally agree with that. I know I've had a lot of conversations over the years in the trades of, when it comes to that of writing this content, and hey, SEO does take a little bit of time. A lot of times the mindset or mentality is, well, I didn't start 5 years ago, so I'm just not going to bother. It's too late now. And then you look back 2 years later, you're like, damn, I should have started 2 years ago when Lewis told me to do that. For anybody out there listening, I'm sure Lewis would recommend the same thing. There's a great book called They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan, and it's all about that, answering every question that you're look there. He's got it in front of him.
Book on my shelf right now.
And that was not planned. So if you're watching the video, Lewis just pulled that book up. But it's a really great book to just give you ideas of what can you write content about, because a lot of times what's ordinary to us is amazing to others. We think, I'm a roofer, we put new roofs on and we move on to the next one and we don't see that customer again for 30 years. But that customer has so many other questions that we just kind of take for granted because we do it every day. So some really good advice there. And like Lewis said, you don't have to do this all day, every day. If you just did one a week for the next year, you'd have 52 really good pages of really valuable content that your customer is searching for. So curious your thoughts. We haven't talked about this before, but I know there's a lot of chatter, and I actually know Marcus Sheridan talks about it a little bit. With AI coming through, what are your initial thoughts? It's still so early in the game, but what is your initial thoughts with AI and SEO, and what do you believe is going to happen with those two?
Love it. I want to touch on Marcus's book. Again, I'm holding up the book here in the video feed. If you're on audio only, it's They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. My number one recommendation if you want to get into how to really make your content on your website awesome. He goes into what are all the questions your clients ask? What are the questions that people are searching when they go to Google? How can you answer that on your website and essentially become the resource that Google can pull from? So switching to AI, I think it's incredibly useful. If you haven't leveraged ChatGPT for anything in your marketing yet or your business, you're missing out. It's not a replacement for your creative mind. It's a tool that will help you go further faster. You still have to think, you still have to be creative, you still have to be unique. When it comes to content writing, let's say you're writing a page on metal roofing. You could go to ChatGPT and say, I'm writing, you are an SEO expert, write me, or there's a number of things that you could do, but in the sequence of it, I would go in and I would say, I am writing a page on metal roofing in Dallas, Texas. You are an SEO expert. Tell me all the different variations of the term that I should include as keywords in this article. And it can give you it can spit that out. And you can also say, what are all the questions that people have around metal roofing from a consumer standpoint? You can think of it as a search engine that compiles everything for you in a very tidy way. That's how I would use it. It's very useful for that. You can take your Search Console data. You can take all kinds of data from an SEO perspective. I won't go too far in the weeds, but you can use AI massively to help speed up your data processing and your idea creation and things like that. I think that's just one aspect of it. Video editing is another one. There's a lot of AI tools that are really cool for video editing. Pictory is one that I've started testing out recently. Quite a fan of it. Takes out whatnot. So if you're doing reels and stuff, you can do this all yourself. Do a bunch of videos, take out the ums and ahs, do some subtitles, boom, you've got some content right there. There's so many things. I'm certainly not an AI expert. I use it here and there. I'm a fan of the tools that are coming out, and I think that if used properly, it can take a small business to look like $1 million business with some of the marketing that they can produce.
Awesome. That's some great actionable advice for anybody out there. And really just using it, like you said, it's a resource. It's not going to replace, at least today or tomorrow, it's not going to replace somebody or something. Lewis has probably seen more websites than I have, but I know when I go to a website and you could see they had some AI malfunctions, you go to their blogs and it's like stuff that was written that doesn't even make sense. That's not even for that industry. But when you are putting together content for SEO, just to get other ideas of, exactly what Lewis said, what are some of the things people are searching for? What are other ways to say this? It's a pretty powerful tool. So let's stay on that Google topic. Google's tricky. They don't always tell us, what they're looking for, what their updates are looking for, but eventually everybody figures it out. You're big on kind of your background. So why does Google care about your background?
Google ultimately wants the best experience for its users. That is something it will always want. Whatever the updates are, whether it's, spam updates or different ranking updates, the websites that stand the test of the time are the ones that give users the most comprehensive experience in that market. You're not competing to rank the best for metal roofing in the world. You're competing in Dallas, in the example we used before, you're competing in the Dallas market. Google's looking at, out of all the websites there, which one is the best solution for those that are searching, whether it be by proximity or by, the answers that it's specifically giving, et cetera, right? So one of the things from an SEO perspective is how well are you telling Google who you are, what your experience is, what your authority is, and whatnot. And an author page is a great way to do that. Think of it like your LinkedIn bio on your website. That's an easy way to explain it and think about it. At least it was for me. So when you're doing blog posts, there is, written by Paul Maskell, right? On his Dallas, roofing website. So on the Paul Maskell page on the website, the author page, he can talk about his background, his education, linking out to his Facebook page, his LinkedIn page, his Twitter page, Google business listing, all of that. And that provides more points of reference for Google to see, okay, Paul's real, the business is real, this is all a real entity, and we can see that this is going to provide a good authoritative solution for someone looking. He's not just a, Joe Schmo who threw up a lead gen website and he's hoping it's going to rank and pull in some leads, and, who knows who's going to fulfill on those.
That's awesome. And that's super cool, because what I love so much about this conversation, we're going to kind of continue it, is all these things that we're talking about doesn't cost you anything. It's not pay per click. It's not social media ads. It's going to cost you some time, or, but it's all organic, and it's going to continue to build value over time. Whereas ads, when you do ads, they're great, but the second you turn them off, they're gone. Whereas when you put in this work, it's going to continue to build value and tell Google that you are an authority in this space. Look at all the stuff I've done. Look at all the things I've written about. I'm an expert in roofing in Dallas. Or I'm an expert in plumbing in Raleigh. Whatever it is, we can start to do that, and we can start to do that today. So another big organic way that you love helping business owners grow their business is through local community Facebook groups. Now, they're in every community. Doesn't matter where you're at. Obviously, you go into some of them and it's all spam and it's all junk. But when you find the right ones that are moderated by the right people that have good value for the local community, what can we do in there to not only grow our business, but help our community?
Yep. So first thing I would do is get your Facebook page in order. Don't, think of it. I had a hard time reconciling this when I started business, and I had a coach say, he was saying, start reaching out to people, business owners, et cetera. And I was like, well, are they going to want to see all my family? Do I want my family on there, et cetera? He said, if you start posting about your business and your family's like, oh, you're just posting about your business, why don't you post anything fun? Just ask yourself, are they paying your bills? So that's something that I hear from a lot of business owners is like, I don't want to use my Facebook personal page. I think it can be incredible use, get your cover photo in order, something branded about your business, nice profile picture, you and your wife, whatever. If it's branded, a branded shirt, that's awesome. So get those things in order. Don't just make your Facebook page ranting about politics. If you do, find another avenue or go a different route. This probably isn't for you. But if you're a business owner that's like, hey, I want to build my community and I'm going to use my personal Facebook profile for that, that's what I would recommend. Get your Facebook page in order, have links to your business Facebook page, links to your LinkedIn page on your profile. So when they land there, they're seeing this is what Paul does, this is who he is, this is where he is. So then you're going to go into community groups like local discussion groups, buy and sell groups, yard sale groups, etc. And you're going to then have a bunch of different opportunities there. I've used it to connect with realtors. I just went on and I said, hey, I'm looking to start a project with some realtors. Please tag your favorite realtor below. And then I went through and I got like 150 comments. The post has since been deleted. I went back to try and get a screenshot of it for someone the other day. But I got like 150 comments on it. And then I went through and I tabulated all the people that were tagged over 2 times. Because we all know that realtors as a whole, there's the 1% of them that actually get things done and are good connections to have. So I wanted those 1%ers. Or I at least wanted to start weeding it down a little bit. And then I reached out to them, and at the time I was building our junk removal business, and I said, hey, can we include flyers in your welcome packs for homeowners? We did some jobs for a few realtors, and we started building those connections. So that's one way you can do it, is just ask the community for advice. They're going to go see who the heck is Lewis or Paul, and they're going to see, right away what you do. You can also give away services. I know plumbers that have done this. They do a family day every first of the month. They get the community to vote on who is someone that needs help that they can go give a free plumbing service to. In our junk removal business, we would take stuff that we got off jobs, like a working refrigerator or a dresser or a set of chairs. We would post it on there and say, hey, number between 1 and 500, pick your number. We'll randomly choose somebody to win this and we'll drop it off at your house. Amazing for engagement, amazing for that community awareness, and it's free again. In the case of the junk removal business, we were saving dump fees. We were keeping stuff out of the dump. It saved us money. It was free marketing. In the plumbing business that I know that does that, it's incredible marketing. It's part of their whole branding is the family first initiative, and they get a ton of people tagging them when someone else is asking for plumbing. You could do the same for roofing, etc. Right? So use those community groups to grow your brand, to give away value. Don't just post and say, hey, we're doing roofs, hey, we're doing plumbing. It's X amount of dollars, we're the best, so on and so forth. Use it to give to the community, and they're going to give back tenfold.
Well said. And really easy way to wrap that up. Give back to the community, support the community. Every community wants to support their local small businesses, locally owned, family owned and operated, all those things. They don't want to deal with the franchises if they don't have to. And when they can see that you, as the owner, are supporting the community, doing a free job once a month for a family in need, documenting that, everyone's going to get behind you, get behind your initiative. And again, it takes time, but these things do not take a lot of money in order to get to where you want to go. It's 2024. Everyone's been complaining the last 6 months that things are slowing down. Everyone's waiting for the election. These are, I don't know how many things we've given you so far that Lewis has provided, but those are all ways you can start getting the phone to ring more often starting today. So as we start to wrap this up, Lewis, I know most podcasts ask for a book. We already gave one away. They ask you answer. Go read the book if you haven't. But we want to take immediate action here. Give our listeners one other thing that we haven't told them today. We've already told them a bunch of things they can do today, but what's one thing they can do within the next 24 hours to start moving their business forward?
Absolutely. So backlinks is a part of SEO that's incredibly powerful. People talk about it. You can go on Fiverr, you can buy 1,000 useless backlinks. There's so much conflicting information out there. One of the things that you should be doing as a business owner is joining all the local directories in your area. So just to give a summary of what a backlink is, it's when another website links back to your website. If it's a good local relevant website, Google sees that as a little tick mark on your building trust scale, right? So go and just search, local business directories in Dallas, roofing business directories, plumbing business directories, whatever your niche is, look for niche specific ones and then local ones. And then you can break down Dallas into all the suburbs, right? And you can look for local business directories in XYZ location. You're going to probably find 50 to 100 in a metro like Dallas. We actually have a list for Dallas, but we do this for our clients, but it's something you can go out and do. It just takes manual time to do it. You're going to find those directories. You're then going to fill out your profile, business name, address, phone number, website, etc. And now you've got a link that was free to you to get. It just took a little bit of time that's pointing back to your website. And that builds your authority. You might get a job off of it, perhaps, but the point of it is to build that authority with Google so that the content that you're writing now is on a more authoritative website. And so together that synergy raises the likelihood that you're going to get more leads, show up in the places that people are looking. You've answered their questions, and now Google's like, hey, this is awesome. More websites are trusting them. We're going to trust them as well. Clients are going to get taken care of. It's all, a great synergy there.
Love it. And if y'all don't want to do the manual work, Lewis could do it for you. Or if you have a VA or going up, or can find a VA and just say, hey, find me all these directories in Raleigh, North Carolina, find all these directories in Miami, Florida, whatever it is, and then find all the ones related to your niche. Yep. Super simple, actionable things that you can start doing today. Lewis Vandervalk, thanks again for coming on the show, sharing your journey, and providing actionable advice for all the blue-collar business owners out there as we continue our journey to prosperity, which is only possible with consistent positive cash flow. I am confident that this will help everyone get one step closer to achieving those personal and professional goals. But Lewis, before we sign off, where can our listeners go to keep in touch with you and learn more about what you're doing?
Our website, bluecrocus.ca. So it's blue, the color, and then crocus is CROCUS.ca. You can jump in there, call us, drop a form, and either myself or Cameron will reach out to you and make sure you're taken care of.
Awesome. Bluecrocus.ca. Again, he is in Canada, so it's .ca. If you don't want to remember that, Google his name. There's not too many Louis Vandervalks walking around there. And he's super accessible on social media. And that's really what makes his business what it is today. Louis, thanks again for coming on the show today. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, Paul. Thank you.
And before you head out, if you are ready to have a business that produces consistent positive cash flow so that you can have a financially healthy business and achieve your personal goals, let's make it happen. Head on over to thebluecollaradvisors.com/call to book a free financial assessment of your business. I will dive into the financials of your business, take a look at what's going on, find any red flags as well as opportunities that you have in your business. Let's make it happen. Again, thebluecollaradvisors.com/call. Until next time, remember, what got you here won't get you there. If you're ready for different results, it's time to start doing things differently.